You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 8th of August. Opposition's all-out attack as centre moves Waqf Amendment Bill in India's parliament. Activists in UK protest Pakistani crackdown on Baloch national gathering. And Mohammad Yunus returns to Bangladesh to lead interim government. And now for all the details. The member of the opposition parties made an all-out attack on the centre as Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju moved the Waqf Amendment Bill 2024 in the Lok Sabha on Thursday. Opposition lawmakers protesting the bill said the proposed legislation targets minorities and is unconstitutional, with many demanding either the bill is withdrawn or sent to standing committee. Congress leader K.C. Venugopal termed the bill as draconian and said the bill would create religious divisions and hate. Opposing the bill, MP Asawuddin Owaisi claimed that the bill violates the principles of Article 14, 15 and 25 of the Constitution. The bill is evidence of the fact that you are an enemy of the Muslims, he added.
हमारा मानना यह है कि ये जो बिल है आर्टिकल 14, 15 और 25 का उसके प्रिंसिपल्स का वायलेशन करता है। ये बिल बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर जो संविधान का उसका वायलेशन करता है और खास तौर से जुडिशियल इंडिपेंडेंस का और सेपरेशन ऑफ पावर्स का ये वायलेशन करता है।
Defending the bill, Union Minister Rijiju said the bill does not interfere in freedom of any religious organization and added that Muslims are being misled due to partisan politics. Forget about taking anyone's rights. This bill has been brought to give rights to those who never got them, he said. Rijiju, highlighting the complaints of land grabbing, added the amendment bill was necessary as the Waqf board was captured by mafia. And raising the issue of Wayanad during 0 hour in the Lok Sabha, leader of opposition Congress party Rahul Gandhi on Thursday urged the centre to declare the Wayanad landslides in India's Kerala as national disaster and enhance the compensation for the affected people. More than 250 people died and several are still missing after heavy rains triggered multiple landslides. Rescuers are searching for more bodies in the landslide-hit district. Indian Army soldiers were seen using cannons to search for bodies trapped under the rubble. It was the worst disaster in the state since deadly floods in 2018. Nearly 1,600 people have been rescued from hillside villages and more than 8,000 people were being sheltered in camps.
And more specific kind of a search will be carried out by our troops with assistance of SOG and the forest rangers. Today for searching or for the recovery operations, we are sending one army cadaver dog also to further assist our mission.
Moving on, Baloch activists on Wednesday held a protest in London condemning Pakistani atrocities on peaceful protesters of Baloch Yakjehti Committee in Balochistan. They said the time has come for international community to question Pakistan over the state-sponsored Baloch genocide.
Members of the Baloch National Movement, a rights advocacy group, on Wednesday staged a protest in London condemning the atrocities inflicted by Pakistani security forces in Balochistan on the sidelines of the Baloch Rajimuchi or the Baloch National Gathering. Activist Fahim Baloch said that since the invasion of Balochistan, gross human rights violations have been going on. He said there is siege by the security forces in Balochistan's Gwadar, where the Baloch Yakjehti Committee called for the national gathering. He said while the people resisted the forces, many of the protesters have either been killed or have been forcibly abducted. He added, even basic amenities like water supply have been cut down to quell the protests.
But still, the people of Balochistan, they resisted without their fear of their firings, without the fear of killings. Many people reached to Gwadar, and when they reached to Gwadar, again in Gwadar, no, there is a siege. There is no internet facility. There is no, even water is not allowed to supply to the people. The telephone connections, everything has been jammed. Peaceful protesters. So against that, no, overall in Balochistan, not in Balochistan, all over the world, Baloch National Movement is doing protest to tell the world what is going on in Balochistan. And it is the time for the international community to wake up and stop the Baloch genocide.
Baloch activists have long alleged that Pakistan repeatedly carries out so-called military operations and enforce disappearances to instill fear and exert control in the region. The victims mostly include political workers, journalists, human rights activists and students who raise their voices against injustice and demand self-determination.
The UNICEF in its latest report on Wednesday announced that over 28,000 children in Afghanistan are suffering from malnutrition in the past 7 months. The report highlights the urgent need for attention to child malnutrition in Afghanistan. The UN and other world bodies have underscored the need for international aid to tackle the crisis in Afghanistan. Meanwhile, the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has been urged to halt US aid to Afghanistan, reports suggest, after revelations that nearly $300 million in US aid might have ended up in the hands of the Taliban. Mohammad Yunus, Bangladesh's only Nobel Laureate, on Thursday returned to Dhaka to assume the charge of military-backed interim government after weeks of tumultuous student protests forced PM Sheikh Hasina's ouster from office. Yunus, who was charged by the past government over corruption charges, is a harsh critic of Hasina and was recommended for the job by the protest leaders. Yunus was acquitted by a lower court in the corruption case on Wednesday and was scheduled to swear in as chief advisor along with a team of advisors later on Thursday in an interim government which the army chief said would include 15 members. Earlier this week, the army chief had said that the interim government will oversee the election for a new government. Notably, Hasina's Awami League party was not involved in an all-party discussions led by the army chief after Hasina fled to India. However, Hasina's son Sajib Wazid has said the party has not given up and was ready to hold talks with opponents and the administration. I had said my family will no longer be involved in politics, but in such situation where our grassroots workers and leaders are being attacked, we cannot let it go, he said in a Facebook post. He added, the Awami League is the biggest party of Bangladesh and without them there cannot be any democratic government in the country.
আওয়ামী লীগ হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশের সবথেকে পুরাতন গণতান্ত্রিক এবং সবথেকে বড় দল। আওয়ামী লীগ কিন্তু মরে যায়নি। আওয়ামী লীগ এই দেশকে বাংলাদেশকে স্বাধীন করেছে। আওয়ামী লীগকে শেষ করা সম্ভব না। আমরা বলেছিলাম যে আমার পরিবার আর রাজনীতি করবে না, তবে আমাদের নেতাকর্মীর উপর যেভাবে হামলা হচ্ছে এই পরিস্থিতিতে আমরা হাল ছেড়ে দিতে পারি না। বাংলাদেশে যদি গণতন্ত্র নতুন বাংলাদেশ গড়ে তুলতে হয়, আওয়ামী লীগ ছাড়া সম্ভব না।
And a helicopter crashed in a forest outside Nepal's capital Kathmandu shortly after takeoff on Wednesday, killing all 5 people on board, the latest of more than a dozen air crashes in the mountainous region since the year 2000. The helicopter operated by Dynasty Air crashed in Shivapuri National Park of Nuwakot district. A police spokesperson confirmed all 4 passengers were Chinese nationals, 3 men and 1 woman, while the pilot was a Nepali male. Local residents saw fire emanating from the forest and alerted authorities.
म आइपुग्दाखेरि लगभग जलिरहेको थियो, जलिरहेको अवस्था थियो। त्यो पछाडिपट्टिको अलिकति मात्रै बाँकी थियो, त्यो पङ्गाहरू पनि सबै जलिरहेको थियो। अनि त्यहाँ आगो निमाउनलाई पनि अलि असम्भवको थियो, अब बलिरहेको थियो। अनि लासहरू त एकदमै चितपेचमै थियो, केही अवस्था थिएन।
Authorities said the helicopter en route to Rasuwa district from Kathmandu lost contact with air traffic control 3 minutes after takeoff. More than 360 people have died in plane or helicopter crashes in Nepal in the past 24 years. Moving on, Sri Lanka's President Ranil Wickremesinghe has said the benchmark's revenue and expenditure figures agreed with the International Monetary Fund cannot be changed. Wickremesinghe made the remarks while responding to a media query about statements made by opposition leaders that they would renegotiate the terms of Sri Lanka's IMF deal if voted to power. He said, if we implement the agreement as we go along, there won't be a problem for Sri Lanka. Now others are coming up with various proposals that they want to change. Then they must tell what they are going to do. One thing about the IMF is that they have never changed benchmarks for any country, he added. Over the past 2 years, Wickremesinghe has overseen a fragile economic recovery after securing the $2.9 billion IMF bailout that has helped tame runaway inflation and rebuild dollar reserves. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.